Hi guys, how are you all doing today? So before we get into this little commentary, I'm happy to announce that I'll be moving all of my streams to Twitch. It's the same name as my YouTube channel, that PK Combo, and the link will be in the description. The main reason was it was just a lot easier to set up interactivity. So now let's get into it. All right. So for those of you who don't know, about 4 months ago, Captain Zach made a tweet accusing Nairo of sexual assault. It's titled, "I'm tired of living a life of lies." Essentially, it starts by explaining when he started Smash Grenades, which was at age 12. It skips 3 years, he was 15. And it goes to talk about his first sexual encounter with Nairo, which occurred on April 14th, 2017. So he verifies it with timestamps of texts on Discord when talking with someone. So here he admits to initiating the oral sex on Nairo, but doesn't mention something that Nairo will mention, which could be a big red flag. So in this first reply to it, about I think the same day as the tweet, he made a reply. So I'll just read it. He says, "I'm not making excuses. My behavior was wrong. I was wrong. I messed up tremendously. To Zach, I apologize for making you feel like you had to carry a burden all these years. That is not fair to you. I'm truly sorry. I'm taking some time for self-reflection and am committed to getting help. I need to be better, grow, and learn, and as a result, I will not be active on social media. I betrayed the people who trusted and depended upon me, the NRG esports staff who helped me professionally, and most importantly, the community who has supported and looked up to me for all these years. I failed you all, and I'm sorry." So that's all he did. So I think, to be honest, this looks a lot like a confession, despite the fact that he later says in the second tweet, which was about 2 days ago, that he did it due to pressure on him, I believe was the reasoning. So all the drama spawned after that. And later, Tamim made a statement saying that the hush money that was actually proposed by Zach, not Nairo, meaning it was blackmail. I feel since Zach's conditions described in his Twitlonger and Zach's Twitlonger definitely point to Zach taking advantage of the movement of everyone else throwing out accusations, because the Smash community was ready to jump the gun on another one because, well, a lot of these have happened and they were all true. He also mentioned how Lima can back this up. I won't talk about the Samsora accusations too much, as that'd be a whole other video, but there isn't really that much to talk about with Samsora anyways. I will say one thing though. Samsora is in a pretty rough spot, as it is very tough to tell if he's being manipulated by Zach because of personal gain or because he did this because he cared about Zach. I hope it's because he cared about Zach, because at least the Samsora we get to see is a really nice person by the looks of it. So there is one reason I think Tamim is a trustable source more than Zach. Zach had personal gain coming out, such as pros favoring taking his side over Nairo's, while Tamim really didn't have very much personal gain from coming out with his side of the story. He even states that to try and seem like more true, I guess, is the best way to put it. Now, for the new news. 2 days ago, Nairo came out with a statement on the issues. October 28th. It is the 31st because it's 1 a.m. for me, but one of these is from his law firm and the other one's from him. So we're going to start by looking at the law firm statement. So it's a very simple one. So October 28th, 2020. In July 2020, our firm was retained to represent Nairobi Kazada, aka Nairo, regarding allegations levered against him on Twitter. Given the nature of these allegations and the platform they were made on, they spread very quickly. Since then, our client's career and reputation has been unjustly taken from him. Mr. Quezada had no criminal charges filed against him. While extremely unlikely should that arise, we have prepared an aggressive defense that we believe would ultimately exonerate him in a court of law. We appreciate everyone keeping an open mind as the truth plays out. Mr. Quezada, I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry if I'm butchering it, has worked very hard to build his career in the Smash Brothers community. He's a man of strong character and values. We are hoping he can get this behind him. Sincerely, I can't read that because it looks like a doctor's signature. All right. So, the thing that's most important about that is the fact that the law firm seems to be pretty cocky that they can win in a court, so they probably have a good defense. Nairo will later mention how he has 30 pages of evidence and he only shows about 3 due to legal reasons. I don't personally think that Zach or other accusers have 30 pages of evidence here, but at this point, since the evidence hasn't been shown, it's like a he said, she said kind of scenario. But knowing a team of lawyers took their side, took a Zach side, or not Zach, Nairo, makes me lean towards Nairo so far. So I just want to point something out here that I'm not sure if this has been mentioned yet, but Nairo only makes, when he was doing Smash, an average of $22,500 a year. So let's say he truly thought he was innocent. I don't think he would have done that. So now let's look over the statement by Nairo. So this is about a 5-minute read, so yeah, that looks like a 5-minute read for me. So I'll read that out loud and I'll just talk about it. So, Nairo said, hey everyone, I'm sorry for how long this took. I've had an attorney retained since July 2020 and am planning to take legal action. I have a 30-page document detailing the full timeline with evidence, but due to legalities and because I'm saving it for court, I can't post it publicly nor address everything here. So just naming names. However, I wanted to address the most important parts. So obviously, his law firm let him say some things. Zach's allegations are all completely false. So you'd think, oh wait, he confessed originally. Why is it different now? Well, when it came out and he saw how everyone threw him aside so quickly, everything he'd been repressing broke him. If his friends weren't willing to hear out his side, why would anyone else? In his panicked, emotional state, he gave up, told a friend to write a vague apology, and posted it. So that could be true. I'm not really sure why he would tell a friend to do it, though, but because making an apology statement is basically confessing. When you apologize to do something, even if you didn't confess, it's basically like confessing to it, unless you were forced to. So that part's iffy to me, but so far, I mean, it makes sense why he would have apologized because, as you could see on this first post, if you look at the comments here, Sam Sora, he's saying I'm so sorry, but look at Void, was really nice person, tosses him aside, just like that. I remember they made a Super Mario 3D World video a couple days before that, and like the Sam Sora, Void, Nairo, and Kitara were all playing together. All right, so the truth is he was never in a relationship with Zach, nor he was ever interested in him. Zach is touchy with his friends, leaning on them and lying on their laps, so I never thought deeply about it. It's embarrassing to admit, but he's very oblivious and dense to these types of things. Plus, he's straight, and everyone knows this, including Zach. That's why he never even imagined he'd have someone do that to him. So I actually got the date wrong. I thought it was the 14th, but it is the 15th. So, Saturday of CEO Dreamland, April 15th, 2017, Zach and his friend told him that they booked their hotel incorrectly and now need a place to stay for the rest of the weekend. His friend has already found someone to stay with. I believe, according to Tamim, he stayed with Mars, and then Mars came in the next day and saw Zach laying on Nairo's chest, I think that's what it said. But no one would take Zach, and they told him he'd be stranded otherwise. With that reason, they told me he was Nairo was his last option, so he reluctantly agreed to let Zach stay in his room. They slept in their own separate beds, but he woke up to Zach molesting him. He freaked out, terrified, but his body froze up and he forcefully performed oral sex on him. So, That's actually very normal for people being sexually assaulted to kind of freeze up, because it's just like the sheer shock that happens can make that happen quite a bit. And that's why a lot of sexual assault victims don't come out till years later, because A, they've been repressing it, and B, they don't actually know it was sexual assault. So Nairo yelled at him to stop, but he refused, and he only stopped once he managed to push him off of Nairo. He was so shaken up by everything, what he did, his betrayal of his trust and letting him stay, that he just shut down. So if that is true, that is a very bad experience. So I don't see very many pros. I remember I'm not sure if it was Void or Esam made a comment taking his side, but so far, Nairo's thing so far lines up with Tamim's fine. There's nothing really out of the ordinary, considering Tamim had not really any holes in his. This is actually working out pretty well, though, make it seem like this is actually on Zach. So on Sunday, Zach attempted to touch him again without warning, and he rejected him, saying that this was illegal and that he felt disgusted about yesterday. He kept pressuring him despite his pleas, and when he told Zach to leave, he threatened to expose me, saying he'd tweet out that we did sexual things. I couldn't believe it, and I begged him to stop this, but Zach held that over his head. So the thing is, that is just straight out blackmail. No matter how you look at it, Zach actually mentioned a similar thing in his, I believe, or was it Tamim? Mentioned that Zach did it. No matter if Nairo's guilty or not, Zach still did blackmail. So, yeah, so he blackmailed him into a second encounter in which he gave up midway online, said how unwilling he was. He had me under his thumb after. I had no choice but to not get on his bad side because of his threats. So, all Nairo needs, he might have it, but if he has proof of those threats, then he's probably free just like that. So, skip forward to MomoCon 2017. Zach tried to blackmail again, and he finally snapped as he had enough of being used. Zach felt guilty at his outburst and apologized, saying he would never tell anyone and to privately resolve this. When I found out in May 2019 that rumors were brewing, I believe that was Zach and Ally. I don't think Ally got completely canceled because he's still like a notable snake main. I don't know though. I haven't seen him in a while, but I don't think he got canceled completely. But cancel culture is like a lot bigger now, so who knows? Maybe he's canceled now. I forget. So Zach reassured him that he never told anyone, that he was the one who must have been offered to take the bullet should it come to that. However, he knew Zach had to be the source because he never told anyone the full story. All versions of the story out there are from Zach and Zach alone. So, if it comes down to oral sex, that part, that would have had to have been Zach, yeah. There are some small things, but things like Mars, like his thing, isn't very, it's not very big, I should say. Alright, so. He was too ashamed to tell anyone and feared that nobody would believe him. He knew something terrible had happened to him at CEO Dreamland, and he didn't know exactly what Zach had put the fear in me, and it was his fault. He started working out because he thought this happened to him because he was weak. That's really not fun. He was in a state of constant and severe anxiety and depression that he kept hidden from everyone else. He no longer slept properly due to frequent sleep paralysis, and he internalized the guilt and shame for years as it ate away at him to the point that he often considered suicide. He suffered alone and in silence, believing it to be the only choice in a situation where he felt so helpless and powerless about his future. Blackmail is really bad when it comes down to stuff like this. Like, I honestly understand why all these things would happen. Like, if Nairo is telling the truth and this is proven in a court of law or whatever, I honestly think we should be jumping the gun quicker on Zach being canceled over all else. But Zach's never had a good reputation, like, in the past couple of years either way, so the Smash King would jump the gun immediately, to be honest. Alright, so page 2. On August 13th, 2019, this is only a little over a year ago now, after Zach's sponsor dropped him, Zach asked him for money. He was resistant to the idea, but he asked again later via text. His insistence combined with how he'd just seen proof that Zach had blackmailed Ally and how he blackmailed him 2 years prior, and to me that the only option he had was to comply. There were only 3 payments, all at Zach's request: $2,000 on August 13th, 2019, $275 on January 13th, 2020, and $350 on February 24th, 2020. So that actually lines up with Tamim's that Nairo didn't offer it, but Zach made him pay, which is very good to help this story seem more true. He never told him. I never told him to do his part by staying quiet. I believe that was not mentioned in Tamim's thing at all, but I forget. I read it right before I started recording. So Zach had confessed that the hush money story was false, and a follow-up to it longer by Tamim. Yeah, so it wasn't hush money. Essentially, it was just payments. And I imagine if Nairo didn't, he was just afraid. So after the allegations came out, he was so crushed at how his silence had been worthless in the end and broke down, eventually opening up to his brother and closest friends about the story. That's when I learned what happened to me did have a word. He was not monetized, but still the monetizable word there, RAPED. The cold hard truth that was that Zach had RAPED him and blackmailed him with that this entire time because he didn't understand what happened to him. So yes, that is essentially unwilling sex. Plus blackmail. Like, honestly, if Nairo's right here, Zach should have been in prison for this. So yeah. So he never imagined a victim of RAPE, never even thought of sexual assault looked like to a male victim. That's the thing, because it's very rare that it ever happens to male victims. It's more commonly to female victims, but it happens to males. And that's the thing. We don't know the exact number because a lot of them don't come out because they don't actually know that it was sexual assault. And often, the people see them as weak for coming out that they were sexually assaulted, which obviously is not true. He has the courage to seek therapy, and currently he has 2 therapists that he has been with for months. They, as professionals, taught me about sexual assault and reaffirmed me that what happened to me was RAPE. They told me that freezing up and feeling powerless is a common reaction among victims, and that survivors of sexual assault can go months and even years without fully understanding what happened to them. Most importantly, they told me that my RAPE was not his fault. So I'm switching from like the first person to second person, I think. I'm trying not to make my family think that this is freaking me. Yeah. So it's already hard enough unpacking everything he's repressed and learning the extent of the PTSD he suffered since April 2017. But he struggled immensely in the past 3 months with this revelation. The cruelty of how he was abandoned by nearly everyone he knew, and that his RAPIST have manipulated the narrative to destroy his life, and that the community he grew up with for over a decade had banned him without a second thought, and cast him out as a pedophile and predator. When he is none of these things, it all feels so unjust. Yes, this is very unjust. Now that this is out, if this is true, if he is not welcome back to tournaments, then it is very, very unjust. But as of right now, since it's not proven that Nairo's right, or that Zach's right, I still don't think Nairo should be allowed in tournaments yet. So, the Nairo everyone saw and talked with on stream or at tournaments was honestly the real him. He had never abused his position and power to hurt others. You know, nothing more than bringing a smile to people's faces through his streams, no matter what they're going through, and giving back to the community. So, Nairo, if he's not a pedophile, he's a really nice guy. And it's really sad that people threw him away, even if this is true. It's what he did. It's really sad that people threw him away just like that, without a second thought, even considering the ally thing. Considering Zach was involved in both of those, you'd think, oh, Zach must have something to do with this, like that's causing it. But no, people didn't think that. They just threw him away. So he lost all of that, his friends, his team, his ability to compete, his Twitch stream, his future. He lost his entire life to these horrible lies and thought of ending and all. And now he's glad he didn't continue to go down this path to his closest friends who stuck by him and to the few people who reached out to him. He has no idea how grateful he is to them. He is the reason he's still here today. Alright, so he cannot offer any more details, but should Zach or any other party continue to escalate this, his attorney will be dealing with this legally while I continue therapy. He has realized he needs to heal. I must be away from this place he once called home. Thank you for reading, Nairo. So, there's a lot to unpack there. Holy. So, to start, yes, from Nairo's perspective, this was illegal on Zach's part, not his. And a lot of things do match up to what normal sexual assault victims do, such as being shocked and not being aware that it was sexual assault. Here's one big thing I want to point out. If people are better taught how to identify sexual assault and unwilling sex, etc., this wouldn't have happened in Nairo. It just wouldn't have. They should be taught it, which isn't really happening right now. Boys are never really taught in most cases, and girls are only taught by parents' choice for the most part. Especially since Nairo's an adult male, so not female or a minor. He likely wouldn't have, people, no matter what, even if he came out first, people probably would have still taken Zach's side. Now, for my final opinion on this, I think Nairo is innocent here. The lawyers have taken his side, a team of lawyers, and made a 30-page defense for him. 30 pages. That is big, since many lawyers only take cases they think they'll win, obviously. That could previously shown to be manipulative in the ally case and stuff like that. So, I truly think Nairo's innocent here. Now, here's the question. If he is innocent, should he be allowed back in tournaments? Well, yes. But the problem will be people who are uninformed on the subject and minors / vulnerable people, etc., may be uncomfortable around him despite him being innocent. I know, even though I truly think he's innocent, I wouldn't be 100% comfortable around him for a while myself. So I thank you for sitting through that, and I'll see you in the next one.